Yo, what's going on, guys? GZTV back with another video. Oh, shoot. Hold on one second. Let me bring the right image up. There we go. We're good. Sorry, technical difficulties for a second there. We are back with another video. This is the only video we have slated for Monday, but tomorrow we have This Week in the NFL to talk about, and obviously The Walking Dead, and possibly a Madden video. The Madden series might return. There's just been some shitty stuff going on with the servers. But winner, we have the season finale for season 4, which means we have 2 more seasons left in a pretty good show, man. This definitely does it live up to Breaking Bad? I'm not really sure about that just yet, but I still think it's a really solid TV show. You guys are complaining about that. I don't really give 2 fucks. But let's get into the plot and whatnot. So there's an opening and then a main story. They make that pretty distinct here. So in the opening story, it's 1998. HHM staff visits a karaoke club to celebrate Jimmy McGill attaining admission to the New Mexico bar. So we're kind of showing like the start and end of Jimmy as a lawyer right now. And it's really cool to see his beginnings, see that his brother never really gave a shit about him. He just wanted to advocate for him so he could get the fuck out of his face. There were a couple of memorable, intimate moments between the two as brothers, but deep down we've known all along. You know, Chuck has kind of hinted at the fact that who fucking cares about Slip and Jimmy, right? Although initially hesitant, Chuck McGill agrees to sing "The Winner Takes It All" by ABBA, first as a duet with Jimmy, but eventually stealing the microphone and singing solo. Obviously, that shows like the narcissism, the selfishness, like the arrogance, all these traits of his just kind of pour out, and people kind of play it off. It's like a playful thing to them, but it kind of represents him just stealing Jimmy's thunder for damn near his whole life and not giving him any recognition, any acknowledgement, any praise. Yeah, he's literally a hater. Like, Chuck and Jimmy return to Jimmy's apartment, where they drift off to sleep in Jimmy's bed singing together. So there are a couple of things that these two have bonded over, but overall, it's just not the greatest relationship between these two as brothers. It's very unfortunate, but it is what it is. I mean, that's kind of how Chuck was, which is unfortunate. Let's get into the main story. This episode is a damn good episode. So we're in 2004 now. We're 6 years in the future, and I think Breaking Bad takes place 5 years from where we're at in Better Call Saul now. So the next 2 seasons, each season should cover 2 or 3 years of the Better Call Saul storyline. And I'm pretty sure season 6 has 13 episodes before the Breaking Bad storyline comes in, so they're giving themselves a little more time to catch up. But in 2004, Mike Ehrmantraut tracks Werner Ziegler to a money wire agency and convinces the clerk to let him view security camera footage. Now, obviously, as a company policy in any place, you can't just let a random stranger barge in and look at your security cameras, but Mike gave him a good excuse. It's like, hey, my brother's diabetic, he's also kind of going psychopathic, and we just want to know where he is. He could have ran off somewhere, dementia, not sure where he's at, he's kind of disoriented. So the guy at the desk is like, alright, we'll take you back, we can look at the security, and then you can get some clues from there. So yeah, Mike guesses Werner is going to meet his wife at a hot spring resort and begins calling hotels. He sees the brochures. Obviously, Werner didn't do very good at covering up his tracks. There's brochures right in this travel wire place, money wire agency for travels. Pretty much is what this place specializes in. Like, if you need to go on vacation and you need to wire money to people, that's where you go. And yeah, so he's taking all these brochures, calling all the hotels that he could possibly be at. You know, he narrows it down really quick. He notices Lalo Salamanca's car following him and evades it. Now, I think in episode 9... No, it might have been episode 8 is the one we got introduced to Lalo, and we didn't think much of it. We thought he was just some innocent member of the Salamanca family, but I don't know how we could have guessed so wrong. This guy's trying to get up in every mess. He's trying to get all the profits for the Salamancas while Hector's kind of in a retirement home. Lalo goes back to the money wire agency, kills the clerk, and reviews security footage showing Mike looking at tourist pamphlets for hot springs. So they're all kind of following each other. He's like, oh yeah, okay, Werner is this guy. He possibly could be at one of these places, and he knows that Mike is probably going to be traveling to one of them. So now it's kind of a race to Ziegler. because obviously Ziegler is like a big catalyst to building the Mega Lab, and the Salamancas have a pretty good clue of what's going on there. So if they can kill Ziegler, there's no more meth super lab being built. So that's kind of how it goes down. Lalo calls hotels until he locates Werner, pretends to work for Gus Fring, and extracts some details of Werner's work before Mike arrives at the hotel to end the call. So pretty much, obviously, Werner didn't know that Lalo was actually the opposite of what he said. He's not working with Gus Fring. He's working against Gus Fring to kind of, out of jealousy with Hector Salamanca. The Salamancas are very jealous of what Gus Fring has going on right now. So Lalo's kind of trying to sabotage it, and in a way he does, because he learns about some of this stuff that's going on with the meth lab. And yeah, the things are going to get bad for Gus Fring, it seems like. Yeah. You know, Mike, gets on the phone, doesn't answer. He's like, well, you fucking told him a bunch of things. Now we're kind of fucked. You know. And Mike has to... And at this point, you don't think about it, but Mike... There's one thing that Mike has to do with Werner Ziegler. And it's going to be fatal, and we're going to find out. Gus realizes Lalo can connect Werner's work to Gus, and decides Werner must die. So Gus plans on having someone kill Werner. He knows that it must be done, because we can't have this guy snitching anymore, and he's kind of been doing it the entire time he's been working there. Mike tells Gus not to send men because he will kill Werner himself. He will take care of it. You know, Gus hired him, so he's like, you know what, I'm going to take this into my own fucking hands and do it. Werner calls his wife at the Denver airport and convinces her to return to Germany, because if she shows up at this resort and she's connected to Werner, her life could possibly be in jeopardy. So Werner's kind of protecting his wife here. He knows that he's probably in really hot water. I don't know if he fully knows the extent of who he's dealing with here with Gus, but yeah. Mike promises to make Werner's death look accidental for his wife's sake, then shoots him. It's a very shocking moment. It's something you never really expected to happen, but you kind of knew it should happen after it happens. It's kind of an interesting thing. Mike later reports to Gus as Gus and Gail Bedecker inspect the meth lab, which was created according to Gail's design. Yes, sir. Gail Bedecker is gonna start working with Gus going into season 5. That's great. It's a really cool storyline to bring from Breaking Bad. Obviously, they're gonna bring every storyline, but for that to be a thing, I really want to see Gale get some screen time, because in Breaking Bad he really didn't get much. Moving on to Kim and Jimmy's story. Kim Wexler and Jimmy stage several events where Jimmy feigns remorse over Chuck, kind of showing that he actually cared, and that maybe one of the bar officials will see that he had some sincerity, and we'll keep that in mind. Excuse me. They intend to influence the appeal panel considering Jimmy's suspension by showing that despite his appearance at the first hearing, he really is grief-stricken about his brother's death, and it's something he really cares about. Dude, I have the hiccups so fucking bad. Jimmy sits on a panel reviewing candidates for scholarships in Chuck's name. What the fuck does that mean? Sits on a panel reviewing candidates for scholarships in Chuck's name. So they're giving off the Chuck McGill scholarship to... Oh yeah, I remember this part. High school. Fuck. Jimmy focuses on Christy, whose background includes a shoplifting charge, and tries unsuccessfully to persuade Howard Hamlin and other members to award her a scholarship. Because Jimmy wants to help people out. He's seen criminals. He's helping them out, and that's not really that moral in the world of the law, so they're kind of frowning upon him. But at the same time, he makes a point to them. And yeah, it fails, but he gives her a really dope pep talk. Afterward, he encourages her not to stick to the upright path she wants to follow, but to do whatever is necessary to succeed, because the winner takes it all. That's how it works in law. You don't really work with other people that much. You hold up a firm, and if your firm is the best, you're pretty much taking all the clients. It's not like it's a super duper in demand thing. Whereas a fast food restaurant, you can go to McDonald's, you can go to Burger King. It's something you want at least probably 2-3 days a week, right? Law, it's you have to be put into legal jeopardy to really need this item. Whereas food, is a sole survival need, right? That's kind of what he was trying to say, and I really like his words to her. Pretty much cut corners. That's not what I like, but I mean, yeah, you gotta do what you gotta do. At his appeal, Jimmy gives a seemingly impromptu speech about his remorse over Chuck and wins reinstatement. I don't think they actually announced that in the episode, but we have to assume that he was reinstated as a lawyer because that's kind of the conflict that was facing him in this season and something he overcame. He then stuns Kim by revealing his performance was insincere. So the whole idea of him being sincere, it just goes to shit because he isn't sincere. He was just putting on a front. I don't know how that shocked Kim at all. She doesn't really know how the relationship goes, so I don't know why she would act like mad at him or anything. He asked the panel secretary for a doing business as form and states his intention not to practice under the name McGill, so we can only assume. Oh man, this is crazy. This is a crazy twist at the end of the season. Kim asks Jimmy to explain, and he briefly turns to face her before exclaiming, Saul Goodman. So the guy that ran the commercials while he was in his stint, the identity, he's going to be a lawyer by the name of Saul Goodman. And wow, that's so dope. That was a really cool moment in the season as a whole, honestly. Yeah, let's talk about this episode. Winner received critical acclaim, of course, a perfect 100% rating, 9.1 out of 10 on 19 reviews, an excellent ending to a bittersweet season. Winner ties up loose threads while priming each of Better Call Saul's excellently drawn characters for the coming danger. There's a lot of conflicts that are going to be coming up kind of in season 5, so yeah, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. I have the hiccups. I need to get the fuck out of here. I don't know what's going on. I'm just so confused why I have the hiccups. Have a good rest of your day. Jesus TV, all your favorite shows and some Halloween movies.